So many people have asked me if I would share a video, a screen capture of how I do my mailings, and I'm happy to do that now. I think I've got it all figured out how I can communicate it in an effective way. Before I show you the actual solution and how I do it, I wanted to tell you what my design principles were in order to be able to create a solution that I think is really, really effective and workable for our business model. My first objective was I want to send mail every day. Now, I know a lot of people, especially younger people in the business, like to send a big bulk. I sent 500 letters today or 1,000 letters per day, or some even say 2,000 letters today. And I did the exact same thing when I started the business. There's a picture of me somewhere shoving about 500 letters into the mailbox at the post office. But what I found over time is that's not really the best way to manage the business. It's certainly not for me, at least. And I'm going to show you why. When you do the mass mailing approach, you send a lot of mail out one day, and then you kind of sit around and wait for a while. And then because you've sent them all the mail out at the same time, you can expect all your calls to start coming back at the same time, or at least the bulk of them. And then when the calls come back at the same time, those that you want to purchase, you're going to end up doing due diligence on all at the same time. And then when you decide you want to buy them, because everything is happening at the same time, the demand for your capital is going to happen at the same time. And then you're going to have to start marketing the properties all at the same time. So this is sort of the hurry up and wait model, where you send a bunch of mail out, then you wait around, and then all of a sudden, you've got a ton of work to do and probably not even enough time to do it, especially if you've got a full-time job and a family. What I prefer to do is mail every single day. And if I do that, as I'm mailing, since the mail's always going out over time, then the calls are always going to come back to me over time. And as opportunities arise, I'm always going to have new opportunities. So I'm going to be spreading out my due diligence over time, not all bunched up at one time. And then because I'm doing my due diligence spread over time, my demand for capital happens over time, my marketing happens over time, and my sales happen over time, which gives me the capital replenishment to keep the business going. And in so doing, since I'm doing all the activities at the same time, but it's spread out, so I'm not doing so much of any one activity at one time, it allows my business to grow in a smooth and steady way as my capital replenishes and I have more money to buy more properties, so I can grow my business. And that's how I like to run my business. So I want to send mail out every day so that the entire business flow is smoothed out over time. Next, in my mailing process, I want to use as little time as possible. Mailing is a mechanical task and not something we want to spend a lot of time on. Probably when you start out in your business, maybe if you're printing in your own house, you might be spending 4 to 6 hours a week on mailing. And that's 4 to 6 hours a week you're not spending with your family, or you're not spending on much more valuable activities. And where we want to get to in this business is we want to put all of our personal time into those activities that are going to create the most value for business growth. Things like choosing another county, growing your buyers list, increasing your marketing leads, closing more sales, and optimizing your processes. My next design principle was I wanted the ability to edit my mailing template. If my mailing template is in a PDF format, or it's baked into a solution somewhere where I can't control it, if I want to make a change to it, there's nothing I can do. So I wanted to make sure I had the ability to go in and make edits and adjustments and improvements as I saw fit. Additionally, I wanted the ability to create new templates. Sometimes I use a one-page mailing template. Sometimes I use a two-page template. And I'd like to figure out which one is going to be the best template for a particular county, which brings me to my next requirement. I want the ability to switch templates on the fly. So sometimes, sometimes when I first mail to a county, I'll mail some with a one-page template, and I'll mail to others with a two-page template, and I will track the performance of each. And when I figure out which one actually performs better in that county, then I'll do the remaining mailings in the version of the mailing template that I know works best in that county. So having the ability to A, create new templates, and B, to switch templates on the fly gives me the ability to do this kind of A/B testing and really optimize my mailings within a county. Next, I want the ability to have all my mailing data in one place. Without a system, you may be having all of your mailing data in various spreadsheets. Maybe it's in one, maybe it's not. It depends on how you set up your mail merges if you're doing Excel and Word. And then when the calls come in and people say they want to sell you their property, then you're struggling to kind of remember, okay, which spreadsheet is that on? And you got to find it on your computer and pull it up so that you can talk to them and sound smart and then process the opportunity for the next step, which would be due diligence. That seems very hard to me. So I like to have all of my data in one place where I can just put a simple search term in and find the mailer, regardless of whether I sent it out last week or 4 months ago. And then finally, I want the ability to view and search my data from desktop, mobile, from wherever. So if I'm out with my family and somebody calls me up and says they want to sell me their property and it looks like a really good opportunity, I don't want to not be able to speak to them and really know the situation. So I want a solution where I can access all of my data on my cell phone and I can take that call and I can respond to them and start the process towards due diligence, even if I'm not near my desk. So those are my mailing objectives. Now with that, I can now show you the solution. So this is a Google Sheet, which is Google's version of a Excel spreadsheet. Now my master data in a particular county is on Excel, and I've got all of my county data that I want to mail to on that master data sheet. There may be 1,000 records, there may be 10,000 records, there may be more for that particular county. It depends on the county. Then every day, all I have to do in order to send the mail out that I want to send is I copy and paste from the Excel sheet into this Google Sheet. Only those records that I want to send that day. By the way, I don't actually do this. My VA does this for me. It's a pretty mechanical task. It's just cutting and pasting because I've already scrubbed the list. So once the list is scrubbed, it's just, as I said, it's just a copy and paste into here. And then my VA sends me an email or sends me a note that says, okay, the mailer for today is ready. And then I review all the data. And this is just my process because this is the way I am. I like to review the data one last time before it goes out. And in particular, sometimes at the last minute, I want to change all my offers based upon what I'm seeing in the marketplace. But I review this data. By the way, the reason it's just a cut and paste is because I made sure that the columns in this Google Sheet are a mirror image of my Excel spreadsheet. So we don't have to figure out which column goes to where. It's just a cut and paste. Once I've reviewed this data, and that entire process only takes me about 2 minutes, and it doesn't really matter whether I've got 1 line or 100 lines, it really only takes me about 2 minutes to review the data. Then all I have to do is click this green generate button and click now. And all my mail is going to be processed. We're going to give it 1 second to do this, and I'm going to show you what happens next. Okay, so now it just processed the 1 letter. Now I'm going to come over to a solution. This is called Podio. Many of you have probably heard of it. And it's just a great place to manage your data and your processes. So in this case, I'm showing you a mailing app. And there you can see is John Smith. A second ago, there was nothing here, but I just refreshed my data, and now it's got John Smith, which was the data I sent over from my Google Sheet when I hit that generate button. And if I open up John Smith's record, all of the data is now here in this database. This green button says sent to click to mail. And this means that it's already been sent. The letter has already been sent to click to mail, and within 24 hours, physical mail is going to go out. There's nothing more I need to do. And if I come all the way to the bottom, I can actually see a PDF of the letter that I just sent. Now I'm sending a 2-page, well, no, this is a 1-page letter using some dummy data. So I've got John Smith's information, I've got the reference number, I've got the APN, the acreage, the county, and the offer price, everything that I need exactly the way I want it to go out. So nothing further I have to do here. So just to recap, in order to send out my mail, all that's happened is once a day, my assistant copies and pastes the agreed upon number of records from the Excel sheet into this Google Sheet. Then he'll go back and he'll highlight the ones that he used on the Excel sheet in yellow so he knows not to send them again tomorrow. And then he sends me a note and says, the mailers are ready for today. All I do is a quick review of the data and I hit the generate button and the rest just happens. Now, the letter's already gone out, but as I do this every day, all of the data continues to flow into this mailer app in Podio. So eventually I'll have hundreds, thousands of lines of records in here in Podio, which represent the letters I've actually sent. So when somebody calls me, all I have to do, I don't even worry about reference numbers really. I just ask them their name and they say, oh, I'm John Smith. And I put it in there and sure enough, there it is. I can search it. And Podio has a beautiful app that I can use on my mobile phone as well. So I can do this whether I'm at my desk or I can do it at my computer. The last thing I want to show you is I talked about the templates. Now this is using a 2-page template, but I can easily go in and I can select from a variety. I can create a variety of templates and I can select any template I want. Here's a 1-page letter, here's a 2-page letter. So selecting a template is easy as just clicking over and selecting a 2-page template. And now I've got the 2-page template. And when I click the generate button, all my offers will be generated in the 2-page template. And the templates are just Google Docs, which is Google's version of a Word document. So it's very easy to edit, very easy to create. And there you have it. So all of my 7 criteria have been met. I can send mail out every single day. It takes me less than 2 minutes. I can create templates, edit templates, switch between templates. And I have all of my data in one place, and I can access that data from anywhere, whether I'm on a computer, an iPad, or on a mobile phone. I hope this was very helpful for you in understanding how to do mailings much, much easier. If you have any questions, please PM me, and I'd be happy to answer them for you. Thanks very much.